Hello everyone, welcome back. In this topic, we'll be discussing AWS's storage service, EBS, or Elastic Block Store. This is our agenda. As usual, we'll have a pre-EBS talk wherein I'll discuss file system and storage layer concepts, then EBS concepts, different volume types, how snapshots work along with demo, then EBS pricing, and finally design patterns. The first pre-EBS talk is file system basics. File system is an Unix concept. It is not so much prevalent in Windows operating systems, but you should know how it works. Although as an AWS solutions architect or sysops, you'll never be working inside of an EC2 instance. You'll never create any file system, but it's good to have this knowledge to understand the basic ABS concepts. So what is a file system? In Windows, we have something called drives. So C drive or D drive. We store multiple files and folders under these drives. So in this case, C drive has 2 folders and 1 file, D drive has 1 folder. Under each folder, we can further store other folders or subfolders and files. So if you see here, this folder has a subfolder and a file. This folder has 2 subfolders and 1 file, 1 or multiple files. And when you attach hard disk to your Windows operating system, you partition that hard disk and you allocate each partition to Windows drives. You can consider this one as file system for Windows, wherein you have stored folders and subfolders under folders and drives, which in turn are stored in hard disk partitions. So what is file system in Unix or Linux? In Unix or Linux, we won't call folders and files. Instead, we'll use the terms directories and files. So directories are nothing but folders and files are files. Let's see how it works. In all Unix-based operating systems, you'll get a root directory or a root folder. Under that, you can have multiple subfolders or subdirectories and files. Here, I have 2 subdirectories, bin and AWS, and 1 file named jan. Under bin subdirectory, I have further subdirectories xyz and abc. I have also a file awscli.txt. Under AWS directory, you have bnd subdirectory and a file named foundation. Under xyz directories, we have multiple files, and under abc, we have another set of files. So you see here, this is the first level, this is the second level, this is third level, and this one is the 4th level. How do we represent this directory named BND? BND is stored under a directory named AWS, which is in turn is stored under the root directory /. So if you have to represent BND, it would be like /AWS/BND. The first slash is for the root directory, and the next slash is to demarcate the higher level directory than this one. Under slash, we have a directory named AWS. Under that, we have BND. If we represent this file, it will be /AWS/foundation because the file is an AWS directory which is under root directory. Similarly, file 2 would be represented as /bin/abc/file2. ABC subdirectory will be represented as /bin/abc. There are 2 color codes here. One is blue and the other one is green. The green ones represent files and the blue ones represent folders or subdirectories. Now we can consider the blue ones as file systems, and we can attach individual hard disks to these file systems. For example, root can also be a file system, and we can attach a drive directly to root directory or root file system. You can attach a different drive to ABC file system or /bin/abc file system. Similarly, we can attach disk number 3 to /AWS/BND file system. Now if you see here, file 1 and file 2, which is under ABC, will be stored in disk number 2. Whatever file or data you put under BND subdirectory will be stored in hard disk number 3. What about the other ones? We have another subdirectory under bin. We have some files also. So what happens is, what Unix does is, If you are storing this file, it will check whether its directory or the file system which this file belongs to has any hard disk attached to it or not. In this case, there is no hard disks attached to XYZ file system. They'll go to its higher level, which is bin. It also does not have any hard disk attached to it. Then it will jump one level higher, which is root. So root has a drive attached to it. So this file would be stored in drive number 1. Similarly, this file /aws/foundation is stored under AWS subdirectory, which does not have any disk attached to it. So the operating system will go and check one level up, which is root, so it has a disk. Now this file would be stored in disk number 1. Similar is the case with all the other files except for /bin/abc file system and /aws/bnd file system, because these file systems have hard disks attached to them. Something like this. Root file system has hard disk number 1 attached to it, /bin/abc has hard disk number 2, /aws/bnd has hard disk number 3. The rest all are also file systems. XYZ is also a file system, /aws is also a file system, /bin is also a file system, but we have not attached any hard disk drive to these file systems. Let's talk about storage layers now. What are the different storage layers? So when you go to a shop to buy external hard disk, you buy it and connect it to your laptop. It's pretty simple and you use it. But in corporate environment or enterprise data centers, things do not work that way. There are multiple layers before you can access the underlying hard disk. So the first layer is actually the physical layer or the physical disks. This is what you go and buy from the shop. These are the actual hard disks. What happens is we group these hard disks into one or more collections, and then we create something called volume groups. Volume group is a logical entity. In this picture, these two physical hard disks have been used to create this volume group, and these two physical hard disks have been used to create this volume group. From volume group, we create another logical entity named logical volumes. So from this volume group, I have created two logical volumes, and from this volume group, I have created one logical volume. And eventually, these logical volumes are attached to your servers or to your machines. If I take the file system analogy, your servers and computers contain file system. The folders which you create in your servers, the directories which you create in your computers are actually file systems. And the logical volumes are the ones which are attached to these file systems. Now, if these two machines write anything to a file system, then it will be written to this logical volume. Then from there, it will go to this volume group and eventually to these physical disks. If anything is written in this server, it will go to this logical volume, then to this volume group, and finally to these two hard disks.